was really the first competitive, like, quote unquote, esport. You could do it in the 90s in the arcades. Since then, PC games have gotten better. Literally, a game could come out tomorrow, not be a fighting game, and in 2 years have a scene 10 times bigger than the FGC. The FGC has been trying to become whatever for 30 years, and they still haven't done it. It's not going to happen. It's not. It's
They
just
thought the
not gonna.
popularity of League of Legends would boost the scene instead of it just being about, hey, we're excited to
Right.
play a League of Legends fighting game. They were just like, well, let's hopefully we can get this and this will happen. Like their expectations were in the wrong
Newsflash.
place.
And this shouldn't be a spoiler.
The game if it's not in a state to play. But the story stuff is clearly that they've got enough to show the story stuff, and they've shown off enough characters that we still haven't really got like a Pie trailer, an Akira trailer. We know Jackie's
Oh,
probably going
more
to be in the
character
game.
trailers. Okay, I can see. Okay.
Yeah, just something. Especially now, it's a rough time for fighting games, bro.
All
Like
right, so
everyone's pissed.
how did you feel about how Marvel Tokon rolled out their game? Besides the when the game came out in the PC, blah blah. I'm talking about like pretty much everything you just asked for. I feel like they did a good job doing that, but the timing when they did it was right before the game released.
Well, I'm not a big. I was not like super like into getting that game. Like I like it. I think everything about it was really cool, and I was very excited to see other people playing it, and I've got it. Um, but it feels like Tokon was definitely providing a lot more content in the lead up. Uh, like even like way before than Virtua Fighter has. Were they not?
Yeah, well, I'll say this. This is from my perspective. I'm in the scene. I've been around obviously 20 years or whatever, and I did not pay attention to this game at all. I was, of course, in the man, I'm tired of tag games, blah blah blah. But then I'm like, I'm still a fighting game player. I'm going to get the game and play it and give it every game like a fair shot. So,
Mm.
but Marvel Tokon, I absolutely did not care about because they didn't have any characters I wanted to play with. And then once they announced Magneto, I was all the way in. So once Magneto showed up in the game, then I started studying the game, looking at everything, and I was so into the game. I'm like, yes, I'm playing this. So then I was anticipating all the character guys they kept releasing and all that. So I did not pay attention to the game at all. I didn't play any of the betas beforehand until the one that had Magneto in it. So
Yeah.
I was late to the party before I played the game. So I wasn't hype at all or nothing. And I came in like super late while there was plenty of people following the game, playing all different betas and stuff. But I also saw they didn't have any of those character guides or nothing up until like literally uh leading up to that first beta because the beta happened 2 weeks before the game came out. So it was like they just didn't have everything prepared. They let people get a taste of the game with the
Hmm.
first like two betas, and then they got a lot of feedback, and I heard changed a lot and made it so much better. So, if anything, I guess like maybe Virtua Fighter will do that, but they haven't given us anything that we can like play other than Virtua Fighter 5. Because when I look at the game, it still looks like VF5, but it's probably just gonna have some extra bells and whistles on it, which I wouldn't mind. I don't want them to like totally overhaul how Virtua Fighter plays or nothing like
Yeah.
that. But I'm interested to see how they're going to differentiate six from all the other ones.
Yeah.
I
The
think
only
it'll be
reason
fun.
I'm asking is because every game dev that I've spoken to, every game dev I've spoken to is worried about GTA 6, like ruining stuff for their games. And every game dev that I've spoken to is from they're producing a game in a different genre. And they've all had the same reaction. Every time I ask them, they're like, yeah, like everybody's paying attention to GTA 6 because they're worried about what's going to happen. I heard that a lot of games moved their releases because of GTA. So if that was the case, then it makes me wonder how badly is it going to affect fighting games?
I don't know. They need to just focus on making a really good product and creating true desire to want to play their games. Like that's all they need to worry about instead of just trying to go around and be like, oh, well, what do we do? Like, if you love Dragon Ball, you love Marvel and stuff, you're going to play those games no matter what. Even if the game is whack, is because the desire to want to use Vegeta or Wolverine or something, people are going to play those games. Like the new Wolverine, the game that comes out, I don't know if it's going to be whack. I don't know if it's going to be good. I just know the graphics look good and you can move around and do stuff as Wolverine. If they can pretty much nail the experience of wanting to be Wolverine and using Wolverine, doing Wolverine things, then the game will be a good game and people are going to play it. Like GTA is
That
for
game looks
people that like to steal cars and beat up pedestrians, and pretty much you can commit crimes and not actually go to jail. And then there's a whole online MMO, role playing experience that people do. So as long as they can feed that audience, that there's still stuff for the other types of games. It's just that you got to give people the experience they want, and what is known for like Street Fighter, for example, doesn't try to be anything else but Street Fighter. As volatile it is, Street Fighter's always been volatile. You actually look through the games that they've come out with, and same thing with like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. It tries to be Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and then you got Tekken is still like, no matter what, how the offense is and aggressive it is, it's still trying to be Tekken and being Tekken. It's just
yeah.
that now like there's a lot of high offense where you could do like a plus on block launcher into another plus on another launcher to check them or something like that, and the side step is just being more and more tuned to where it's working and stuff. I actually like the updates they've been doing to the game, and I don't like frown at the concept of what they were trying to accomplish, but it's just that, hey, you got to still be able to do Tekken and Tekken, which is use movement to get around stuff and all that. Because when I played Dead or Alive, it was the same thing going from 2 to 3. 2 was like, all right, you have the situation where I do a plus frame move, but I can use defensive hold to discourage you from wanting to take your turn. But in Tekken, you just had like side steps and realignment and movement in general to discourage that. And then they took it to the next step with DOA 3, where they added moves that have high reward to also be plus. So it's like I can do equivalent of a death fist and be plus on block, and but then I can still challenge that if you decide to be plus on block with the defensive hold. But then now they also have the sidestep attack, and not like, you notice I didn't say sidestep, just a sidestep attack, because in that game you had to do the actual attack to get the I'm sorry, the evasion out of the move. Because in Tekken, you could just do it, just like same thing in Soul Calibur. You could just move and not have to be committing to an attack to get that evasion to create that different the third dimension of the combat system. So with Tekken, that's the biggest issue, because a lot of Tekken players like that you can just decide, hey, I'm going to chill out and let you exhaust your turn, so then I can get my turn. But then it's like, all right, you can still maintain your turns, because like in other Tekken games, you would maintain your turn with the threat of, hey, I can use this to discourage you from trying to take your turn, and then like that's how you get both players will sidestep to realign at the same time and all those different moments. But now it's just like, all right, well, I can threaten you with this plus on block launcher basically. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I think that you can. I think you can satisfy both. Like you can make a rich fighting game with rich mechanics, and also focus on the single player stuff, so casuals stick around for that. I
I
think I
think
think
these
that's a good balance.
these games need to double down on doing what they're supposed to do instead of all like homogenizing themselves.
Mm.
Because you
Yes.
got to think about the person that's going to work and whatever, and they have limited time in the day. You can't get them to be like, buy all these fighting games and play all of them. They're only going to have time for a select few on top of whatever else they got going on. So you want more players, but really our demographic is between like 20 and 50, 60 year olds, or if we really want to get hard on it, 30 to 60 year olds, right? So a lot of us have limited time in that age demographic, but also like a lot of these
Yes.
games that have built up for over these years and decades, we grew up with those games, so we are the target audience for that. But they're like, oh, we're going to try to get more of the general audience. Like they don't change all these other sports or anything. I'm not whatever, whether you call it a sport or not. I'm just saying I look at every game as a game. So whether it's basketball or hopscotch or whatever, they are all
I don't.
games. So
I don't.
that's fine, but still, they are all games. Like no one says,
They are.
"Hey, we got to change up basketball to get more players." You just double down on it being what it is and
Well, it's like
onboard
the
people
tennis
a lot
tournament, right?
easier by just having more opportunities for them to deal with whatever the game is.
But let's use the tennis argument. I've always used this argument. You would technically get more tennis players if you made the home run legal in tennis. Hit the ball over the fence is actually a point. You'd have a lot of people playing tennis, but what would happen to the sport? Who would watch it? Fighting games are entertainment. Okay? And what always seems to happen in fighting games is you put out these flashy things, you make them easier to do, you lower the skill ceiling, but what happens is that gets boring. And then by the time the game's life is over, people are like, oh my gosh, he fucking came back 100% because he mixed them 10 times. Nobody wants to watch that shit.
Yeah, here's the thing though. The people closest to our developers now are feeding to them that that's what they want. That's why every game has pretty much played like a different rendition of what Marvel vs. Capcom brings.
Sonic Box. So I can say whatever the fuck I want. You know what? Because
I mean, I think it's more than just him. There's plenty of people like who are old school Marvel players who are in development. I mean,
there are plenty.
There's a lot of people who think like that and like that stuff in terms of, you know, the sandwiching, the overhead loads, the set play, all that stuff. But that's a big thing that's in all these tag games that they try to also spread into even the 1v1 games of today. Like, okay, look at Mortal Kombat 1, right? Who in the Mortal Kombat fan base ever said, you know what? I wish I could use assists and tag. It's never the actual, like, I hate to say actual, but the general Mortal Kombat audience just wants more of what Mortal Kombat is.
Said that. I can think of at least one.
Wait, go ahead.
I can think of at least one person that might have thought that or said that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people within like the FG, and the thing is with the FGC, it's not just one core group. There's the people who are, you could call the professional base of the FGC now, which is in control of like the tournament organization. They're there at events for photographers, people who manage teams, whatever, all that stuff. They are closest to the publishers and talking to them to be able to influence all these designs to basically play the same. Like, you got people who don't like resourceless reversals. People complain all day about throw loops in Street Fighter. Well, who was the one who was champion reversals requiring resource? Before, in Street Fighter 4, you had meterless reversals, meterless invulnerable reversals, and then like DOA, Tekken, Virtua Fighter, all have wake up kicks that have invulnerability that don't require resource. Then from MK9 and Injustice, which had, meterless resource, invulnerable reversal moves that don't require meter. And then MKX is like, all right, now you need a bar just to be able to get up. MK11, now you need a bar just to be able to do X, Y, and Z. Instead of like there always being an option that's like, hey, you got to think about this. Like, I don't want, if you have strong offense, also have strong defense. I shouldn't have to like spend a cost just to play defense while you are not spending anything to play offense. Like, games that allow both to exist, you are able to continue to build on the interaction of player versus player instead of being like, oh, look, I see you don't have any meter, so I can just autopilot my offense now and not have to worry about nothing. To me, that design makes things boring.
Are they made for casuals or for fighting game players?
Generally speaking, I think they're made for casuals. Generally speaking.
Okay, so
generally speaking, I think look at Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8 and Stripe. They all designed it with the idea to get away from
like the FGC didn't exist until a certain point. So like they were just designing games like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and then I think it's still the same core audience of people that are designing it for. Just that now we have a competitive.
That is not the answer. There are other, but that is what the developer is doing.
Yeah, the developers
because there's people it's in their ear telling them what they think, will make things better. And that's how you gotta really assess who is the FGC that's talked, because everybody, there's too many different subgroups that people are casual, people who just buy whatever new game comes out, some people who just play online, that's it, they don't even engage with Twitter or the fight
Why
game
don't developers bring
tournaments.
in people who are established to know fighting games, who are not active competitors, but who understand? Why don't they bring in
Because
TL?
right
Why don't
now
they
it's
bring
about
in Ryan
whoever has
Hart?
like the highest appeal online and who everybody seems to like. That's
Okay,
what
but
a lot of
those
them are
people
concerned
are
about
trying
these
to win
days. And I don't
money.
know if you pay
You know,
attention, but that's how it is. It's not about
but you got to
like
bring
how
people.
great your expertise is. It's about like how people feel about you or something like that.
You got to bring in. You got to bring in.
And I'm not, hold on, I'm not saying like whether somebody has beef with somebody or not, but whoever has the most visible or visibility online, they go, oh, well, that's probably the person that we need to be listening to and whatever. So, and they impose their opinions and preferences into whatever they do. And they say, well, I like it like this, I like it like that. And then they think that that represents everybody else, and it does not. They
First
have
of
a
all,
mixed
first,
representation of where they think they should be listening to, and a lot of that is also who everybody likes to gravitate to and be like, oh yeah, you know what, I lean with that. Because there's a lot of people who
first.
don't even like play or nothing like that, who I think still matter for when it comes to game design, because you want them to be able to fill up the online. Like a lot of people who are playing Street Fighter 6 online, they're not in the lobbies. Just like you said, in the world tour, they're probably like chilling off, doing something in world tour
Yeah.
mode. They might be in I don't mean like the private lobbies. I'm talking about like the gameplay lobby where they're just chilling, playing the avatar versus modes and stuff like that. But there's different stuff in that game. Like I think once Marvel Tokon finally releases DLC and all that, and also bring people back with that Rumble verse like game that's inside the lobby system, that will populate the game too. Because you got to have something for people to feel good to idle on. Like it's fun when you get on like Tekken and you go to the lobby, you see hella people there playing, and the game feels alive. Today, that's what developers need to also focus on. Guilty Gear Strive did it. Dragon Ball Fighters did it. Mortal Kombat 11 for no reason doesn't have a lobby in their games, but I hope they bring one for their next games. But like all these games gotta
Yeah.
have something to keep people wanting to be on outside of just. And I'm not saying to design something that's totally separate from the game and that's the focal point, but just like the lobby.
All I'm saying is casuals start by developing a game for fight. The problem is developers are not patient. Um,
Neither is the fan bases they
so
develop for.
what do you think they're gonna say?
Yeah, they're
Oh,
going
you
to
know
try
what?
to get the game design around what's comfortable for
Yeah,
them.
it's developers are also in the Stone Age. Things change when a player says, you know, there's 50 G's on the line here, man. Hey, what do you think we should do? Should we put things that give you a hard time in the game or remove them? Duh! Remove it! Of course.
Yeah, every uncomfortable interaction is not a design problem, but they'll make it seem like that. Like right now, let me tell you, you don't play Marvel Tokon, but let me tell you a little bit. So in Marvel Tokon, everyone's complaining about the assembler counter, right? And it's basically just an invincible backdash that if it catches anything you do, you can potentially die off this interaction, but it requires a lot of resource and stuff. But you can also bait this. So pretty much, say someone goes for your pressure, and then you input this invincible backdash, you can just wait for it to not be in its active frames and catch it in its recovery frames, and then cook somebody. But it allows you to still be able to be in the fight and be like, look, if you are too autopilot on your offense, then I can cook you for this. But then if I'm too panicky on doing this, I can get cooked. And it's a really good way to pretty much just play that tug-of-war game. And you can do it. It depends on how much meter you got, but like sometimes if you don't have the meter, it just like does a hit. It won't do like a full combo or anything like that, but it does a lot of damage. But it's the same as doing a dragon punch. People want that move to be more of a resource cost for being able to kill, but it's no resource until like if you have a big resource pretty much for it, you can go into like a big combo launcher or whatever. But if there's no resources, just a hit to knock you off. But people want that to require resources for it to not kill, but that's like asking for a DP to not kill. It's
okay. And backdash all day. Really? That's what Arslan Ash was winning in Tekken 7 by quote unquote abusing the system? How come all these casuals weren't abusing the system then? And backdashing all day. It's a lie. The defensive and offense, when it comes to offense, the player will always get the credit. When it comes to defense, the system. Nobody ever says, oh, this is a good zoner. They say the zoning is broken. No one ever says.
And then they want defense to come with a cost out. Like, you always got to pay a fine to use defense. Like, you can't just have a reversal. Yeah. Like, why people want to just have super powerful offense and then defense got to be like, oh, I see you have meters, so now I know you're about to do something. It's like it's whack. They're not cool with different interactions. Why is it like this?
If you want to counter pick me and I don't want to switch characters, it's my job to figure a way to still do my stuff even though you're at advantage.
Yeah, it's not just a conversation, it's a tug of war. And we're supposed to be able to, do whatever we can do. And people will complain like, well, why can't you do this? Why can't you DP? Why can't you wake up? Why does it? And it's just like, it's about being able to figure out how to solve a problem. Like when you play a single player game and you got to fight through like a stage and it's platforming and stuff, you don't be like, oh, let me remove all these obstacles. The point of the game was trying to figure out and get through the obstacle.
How come nobody ever says getting knocked down once and mixed for 10 years and when is it my turn? Why is no one say that's annoying?
Because they want that interaction where they only need to win neutral one time and then they don't have to think after that. It's very insecure and just like being able to stand up and just fight. Like think about boxing, you can't do that. Yeah, in UFC you definitely can get hit, knocked down, it's over with. But
you know why I love Tekken 6? There's no power crushes. There's no heat. Let me tell you what.
There's a high crush, though.
Not in Tekken 6.
Not in Tekken 6.
There's no high crush in Tekken 6?
I can't stand it when someone one and dones me. What is this whole one and done and you don't get a run back thing?
Do you remember playing in the arcade, right? You played in the arcade?
Yeah.
Okay. In the arcade, you lose. If there's a line, you got to go back to the end of the line. You don't get to play a set. And you got to pay money just to play again. That's like that's the original money match or the original competitive format. Because before that, all the games were point games where you just have to do a high score or whatever. But then when it became versus, it's like, well, you can't sit there and play a set. And then that person can get on just to beat you and then leave. And then, well, the rest of the people are still sitting there. Plus, also, it's just fun do or die stakes I like, and that's how all the original fighting games were. I mean, not original fight, but all the original games that became online before we got to like Street Fighter 5 time, everything was first to one. And I rather play first to one and ranked because then I can get to fight more of the cast of the game, especially a populated game. And if you know someone wants to like, they know, oh shit, this dude's going to first to one or beat me and then just leave, they're going to play even harder. So you bring out more of that player's like inner killer instinct. That's how I feel, because there's no way they look and be like, yeah, we're about to run a first to 10 and a first to 2. No, that's not what's about to happen. That's not how rank is even set up. MKX was first to 1, MK9 was first to 1, and Justice was first to 1. We didn't start doing all this, you gotta play like this until that Street Fighter 5 period, because more people who were from the community, the tournament community, got into development's ear and like, hey, we want this and lock this and that.
What's going on with your Tokon series now? Has anybody been able to beat you?
No, it hasn't started yet. It's still just the registration.
Okay.
So, yeah, and we haven't began it yet because we're waiting for crossplay to get basically more stabilized because I don't know if anyone noticed, but like for a lot of the online tournaments, they wouldn't let PC enter because the crossplay was so bad. So I think with the most recent update, we're ready to go with it soon. So like I'll be announcing a date when we're going to start it very soon. But people were kind of like confused about the format. So I just want to clear that up real quick. So the first, pretty much the week, it's a weekly tournament, but monthly. But the first week, Monday through Friday, actually all of them are set up like this, where you get on and play whenever you want. Just like if you were to go online at home and playing ranked, and you just play who is available in the queue, and you guys like, you know, all the points and stuff get distributed. But it's like that. There's no set time where you have to be on or anything like that. So it's very relaxed in that regard. So people don't have to be like, oh, dang, you know what? I can't play because I'm at work or I got to work or whatever. It's whenever you can play in your leisure time. So then at the end of that, pretty much the top 8 is then refined, and then they have to play in a single elimination bracket to then like become that weekly champion. And then they'll play against a boss. And that will happen for 3 weeks until like the final week. But yeah, it's I really like the format. It's really fun. I pretty much designed this in the sense like if you were to play a beat 'em up game, like you know how you play Streets of Rage and you have a boss at every stage, and then you might have to fight all of them at the same time before you fight the final dude. And like in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they did that as well. So like, yeah, that's how it's set up. But it's also just like an alternative for people to play in. It's not meant to replace anything or, you know, say, oh, this is the format. Like, it's just another way to play. Like, people can, I'm still like, I'm not saying do this instead of that. It's more so like, hey, you can do this too.